So on any given day, we get about, on average, 50 messages. It could be through our Instagram, our Facebook page, people are commenting on YouTube videos, or people are emailing us saying, hey, how do I do this for my registration? Or what about this exam? Or how about this? How about that? And yeah, we try and get back to them and answer as best as we can. But within all of this, we also get a lot of people just saying, do you know what, you guys? This isn't actually what you're saying it is. This isn't actually what you're doing. And y'all are basically lying about this and you're lying about that. So I thought, why not just talk about the 5 things that we're supposedly lying about? If this is the first time you're checking out our channel, welcome. Basically what we do is we run a website that's totally free known as roadtok.com, and it will explain the ins and outs about everything related to the United Kingdom and what it takes for you to work as a doctor in the NHS. So if you've not already, please stalk us on all of our social media. Find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey guys, my name's Breeze and I currently work as a doctor in the NHS, and what I've done is I've sifted through all these messages and brought up the 5 most common things that people accuse us of lying about. And let's start off with the first thing. The first thing that people tend to send to me, mainly, basically me, is that the only reason that I ever came to the United Kingdom is because I either failed USMLE or couldn't match into a residency program. And it has absolutely nothing to do with all the other stuff that I've said previously about, well, you know, the NHS is a universal healthcare system and that's pretty great. So, first of all, to address all that, like, how do you guys even know this? Like, I don't know y'all. Y'all don't know me. I'm guessing that people are seeing the public data for USMLE, which doesn't exist, or the public data for my match information, which also doesn't exist. But let's hypothesize for a second. Let's say for a second that actually I was someone in that situation who was unable to pass USMLE for whatever amount of attempts, and I couldn't get into a residency program. First of all, anyone in that situation, you know, that's a lot of stress on that person. That's kind of uncool to go out and accuse people of that, especially if you don't know any better. And secondly, for all the people who might be in that situation right now watching this video, that is nothing to say that you guys aren't good students or that you aren't able to achieve your dreams. Like, literally, live your life, don't care what other people are saying. But most importantly, at least in my situation, the situation of a lot of people like me, as an American, it's actually pretty okay for me, even if that were to occur. It's international medical graduates who don't have any sort of settled status in the United States that can get stuck. Now, why it would be okay for an American in this situation versus an IMG would basically be, alright, fine, so, alright, I didn't pass USMLE and I need to take it over and over again. Where am I going to get the money from? Well, I can work in the US, I can do whatever I want. Maybe I'm not working as a doctor, but I could do research stuff. Dude, I could work at like 7-Eleven and it would still be fine because I'm making money. I could live at home, there wouldn't be any expenses. And fine, let's say then the trouble is getting into a match or residency, doing enough, you know, rotations, talking to people, networking, really easy to do if you're in a country where you're trying to apply for. So I guess in that sense, it wouldn't be something that would be very difficult if that was the case or if that was the situation. Now, yes, it could be very difficult for people who are international graduates because obviously there's a huge cost and things that you have to consider and time that you have to spend and visa restrictions. But for someone like me that has none of those issues, wouldn't really be a thing. So it's almost as if I actually came to work in the UK for the reason I said I did. So this brings me up to the second lie, that I'm not smart enough to work as a doctor in the United States. I think people generally who get through medical school tend to be pretty smart. I don't know any country or any medical program that people, when they're applying for med school, they aren't generally the cream of the crop, the smartest kids or the kids who are working the hardest. It's kind of, again, ridiculous to be like, well, actually, the reason you're not there is because you're not smart enough to be working there. And what does that even mean? I mean, we've all had to take numerous exams to get to where we are, medical licensing exams, you know, just general final exams, term exams, and it's really demeaning, and I want to say even unprofessional of any of us to assume that kind of stuff or say anything like that, because What the world? We're doctors. We all know the trials and tribulations we had to go through to get to where we are. And then to be like, well, you're not actually smart. Like, what? What does that mean? That you're not actually smart enough to work in the United States and that the UK is second best in that sense? I'm sure somebody's going to comment down below, that's exactly what we mean, Breeze. Thank you for realizing that. But no, there are great researchers and doctors around the world. I think it's very limiting to kind of put into that place that, well, no, if you're graduated from here, if you're working in this country or whatever as a doctor, they're obviously not intelligent, because then if you were, you would go to the US. Now, the third lie, which basically would maybe blow some holes into the first and second lies that I've just gone through and explained, is that in actuality, I'm not American and my accent is fake. I really don't know how to prove that I'm American. I think the biggest part of it is probably the fact that I keep talking about America a lot. I think that's one of the nicest stereotypes about the United States, that we let you know that we're American from the get-go. In regards to my accent being fake, well, I suppose in a way that might be true, because I picked up a fairly heavy Southern accent as a child, just because, you know, I live in the South, go figure, that my parents were really adamant that I did not stick with, because we all had a nice, lovely, general American accent. But a lot of my friends growing up had very thick Texan drawls that occasionally I do revert to if I am talking to my friends again. But my accent, I suppose, as a whole is not fake, and this is actually the way that I speak it. It's not something that I'm putting on. I could attempt, I suppose, a really terrible British accent. I would like to think that the fact that I'm very fluent and fluid when I'm speaking would maybe give anyone a doubt about the fact that this is actually my accent. Maybe they think it's a really terrible sounding accent and that's why they think it's fake, and I'm sorry, but that's just how we speak in America. And in regards to me not actually being American, I don't know what else I can really prove. I suppose my knowing the Star Spangled Banner, or the fact that I can recite, you know, all the states in order alphabetically along with their capitals and the US presidents and all. I mean, that's just probably weird stuff that I just happen to know. I don't necessarily think that makes somebody more American than another. But even if I didn't have an American accent, I would still be American if I held a US passport. And regardless, why would that be a point of contention to anyone, where my nationality is or what I'm talking about? The fourth thing that supposedly we're just, you know, telling people, and it's not totally true at all, is that the salary you make as a doctor here, that's all a lie. It's fake. We've just fudged all the numbers. You know, all those videos that we have where Ibrahim's showing his payslip, or where I'm talking about the hours that we're working and the pay that we're getting per hour by showing our contracts and what we've been, you know, signed up to do. Apparently all those are just fake, guys, because somebody out there Googled it and they saw, you know, something on Glassdoor, and Glassdoor told them that, well, doctors in the UK only make £30,000 a year, and that must be true, and whatever you guys are saying is obviously false, because I guess a random Google is more believable than the individual who's working in that situation and is literally showing you their payslip. How do you argue with that further? I mean, if you want to believe that, you do you. I'm just going to keep cashing my paycheck at the end of the month and know how much is actually going in. And lastly, the fifth thing that we're definitely totally lying about because we have some sort of agenda is the duration of specialty training. And yeah, we're telling you in all of these videos and showing you in these links that also back up what we're saying, these official links from the Royal Colleges, that training on average is 3 to 8 years. But, you know, obviously, guys, it's actually 10 years, and we're just telling you 3 to 8 years because we're evil, I guess. You know, because GP training is 3 years. Radiology training is 5 years. There are some trainings that are longer, and there are some that are shorter. And just like in many countries of the world, they have different durations. And even if you don't want to believe us, that's totally fine. But when we're actually giving you the links from the Royal Colleges or from the specialty sites that say, oh, do you want to be a radiologist? Well, you can become a radiologist in 5 years. I guess they're lying too. I think a little bit of it might be that people think we all have to do foundation training, and we don't. If you've completed an acceptable pattern of internship, you don't have to do the 2 years of foundation training in the United Kingdom. You can directly apply into training.
and then it's just those 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years or whatever amount of years it is. So that's it. We don't have any reason to say anything that we haven't actually verified ourselves or provided relevant references and sources from. And there's the things that we're supposedly lying about, guys. I'm sure there are more that you guys might want to comment down below that we're apparently lying about. Do you know what? I bet Ibreeze doesn't even need glasses. I bet she just wears them so that people think... I can't let people know that. Yes, I wear glasses because I actually need them, not because I want to look intelligent and that people take me seriously. I totally need glasses. And, other things that I've said, always totally true. Don't worry about it. And, y'all, we do realize that it's a very minor, the vocal number of individuals who do say these things or messages like this. And we're very, very much thankful to all of y'all who do follow us and listen to us and subscribe to us. And who, the questions that you ask are wonderful. We love answering them and knowing that we're able to help you guys in your journey, in your process to your Road to UK, figuring out what you need to know. It's just sometimes, people say these things, so we thought, why not just clear it up? And this is actually a really fun video anyway, because it's really great to think that people are thinking these things and you just wonder what was their thought process. So I hope, all things considered, you did have a little bit of a reprieve with this video. If you're stressed out, you can come back to this and laugh along with me. Or if you just needed a bit of a break in general, there you have it. So nothing taken seriously on my part. I know people say what they have to say because they feel the way they feel, and sometimes it's really nice and easy to vent when you're anonymous on the internet, and that's just the way it is, I suppose. But thank you again to all of you guys who've been with us through everything we've been doing, and for the more things that we hope to do in the future.